Namaste everyone, welcome to my class. I am Vinod. We are in 10th standard, chapter 11, Human Eye and the Colorful World. So we will learn about the human eye. So out of the 5 sense organs, the sense of sight is very important. Because of the eye, we are able to see this colorful world around us. So today we will learn about the function of the eye, some important parts in the human eye. So human eye functions exactly like the camera. So I have drawn the human eye here. So I explain you the different parts of the human eye. So when we see the human eye, when we see our eye, we will find two things very easily: the white color part and the middle back color, the black one, or it depends on person to person, the color, the round circular one, which we call it as the iris or the diaphragm. So those two are very noticeable. So the white color one, the white muscular one, we call it as sclera or sclerotic membrane. So when the human eye extends in the front side, so this is the front part of the human eye. So the sclera, the white color one, at the front part has one more transparent covering layer. That transparent covering layer which extends in the front, it is called cornea. So cornea is the transparent window. It acts like a window, like the light can enter through the eye through the cornea, which is bulged outwards. Then behind the cornea we have the black color, the circular diaphragm, which I said, it is called iris. So this is iris. So for the iris, so it's a dark color, so it depends on person to person. That iris is a circular diaphragm which has an opening at its center. So this iris can control the amount of light entering into the human eye. So this opening at the middle of the iris is called pupil. So this iris is a muscular diaphragm which can regulate the amount of light entering into the eye by controlling the size of pupil. If the intensity of light is very high outside, then iris will make the pupil very small. So if the intensity of light is very less in dim light, so the iris will expand and make the pupil enlarge. So it enlarges the pupil. So the function of the iris is to regulate the amount of light entering into the eye by changing the size of the pupil. Okay, then behind the iris we have the eye lens, which is held by two muscles. So this one and this one, these muscles are called ciliary muscles. So the ciliary muscles hold the eye lens in a position and are responsible for changing the focal length of the eye lens. So this is a jelly type of protein and our eye lens is in convex shape. So it's a convex jelly type of protein, so which can be, the focal length of the eye can be controlled with the help of ciliary muscles. So whenever we are seeing the far objects, our ciliary muscles will relax, making the eye lens thin. So whenever we are seeing a nearby object, then the ciliary muscles are under tension and they reduce the focal length of the eye. That means the curvature of the lens increases if we are seeing a nearby object. If we are seeing a far off object, since the light comes parallel from the far off objects, then the ciliary muscles relax and the curvature of the eye lens decreases. That means the focal length of the eye lens increases. So ciliary muscles plays an important role in holding the lens exactly in the position as well as changing the focal length of the lens. Then we have an aqueous humor. This aqueous humor is an viscous liquid, so which is present in between the islands and the cornea. So behind the islands in this eyeball, we have vitreous humor, so it is also a transparent jelly type of substance, this transparent jelly type of substance, and we have a liquid in between the islands which is very viscous. So the presence of these two helps in not only refracting the light as well as giving a shape for the eyeball. Otherwise, due to atmospheric pressure, the eyeball may not retain the shape, that spherical shape. One more thing, our eyeball is spherical in shape, and the diameter of eyeball for normal human eye is approximately 2.3 centimeters. That will be the diameter of the eyeball, which is spherical in shape. Then we have, when the light enters through the pupil and it converges, the islands converges the light anywhere inside the eye behind the island. So this is the part on which the light will be converged on the screen. So this screen is called retina, on which the light falls, or on which the image is obtained, is called retina. So this retina has large number of cells which are called optic cells or light sensitive cells. So there are two types of light sensitive cells which are present on the retina, the rod cells and the cone cells. Rod cells are sensitive to light and cone cells are sensitive to color. So rod cells help us to see even in dim light. So sometimes in the evening time when the light is very dim, we can't exactly identify the colors, but we can identify the shape of an object. It is possible only because of the rod cells which are sensitive to light, whereas cone cells, which can identify the different colors, that means the light which is reflected from different objects carry different wavelengths. When they enter into the eye, the cone cells will become active. That is, for the cone cells to become active, they require the intensity of light should be more. So they are active only when the intensity of light is more. Cone cells help in identifying the color. Okay, now we have one more part in the human eye on the retina. This part is called blind spot. So it is called blind spot because when an image is formed at this point on the retina, we cannot see the object. The reason is all the cells, the optic cells which are present on the retina are connected to the optic nerve at the blind spot. So near the blind spot, the area where the blind spot is identified, at that point the optic nerve, this is the optic nerve, enters into the eyeball. So the optic nerve, the place where the blind spot is, it is the place where the optic nerve enters into the eyeball, or it is the place we can take it as optic nerve leads to the brain. So the information from the light cells is sent to the brain, and brain will visualize the picture. Actually, if we have a convex lens, we will get an image which is inverted, upside down. One more thing, since we have two eyes, each eye visualize the object at different locations. Now the function of the brain is, when the information is carried to the brain from both the eyes, the brain will perceive them as a single image. So if with each eye, it will be like a two-dimensional. So the brain will overlap them, and it appears, the information actually is like upside down from the convex lens. So the information which is of a two-dimensional one will be perceived by the brain, a three-dimensional image, and it is erect. Whatever we see is a three-dimensional with both the eyes, and it appears erect. This all function is done by the brain. So then the place exactly behind the pupil, on the retina is called yellow spot. So near the yellow spot, the area where I mentioned yellow spot, there more number of cone cells are present, cone cells, which are sensitive to bright light and are helpful in identifying the colors. So whenever we are seeing any important information keenly, then all the information, that is the light from that information, falls on to the yellow spot, where we can see, or where the brain perceives a perfect detailed image, as there are more number of cone cells present. And one more thing, the color blindness, one of the reason for color blindness is due to the absence of some of the cone cells in the human eye for some people. Okay, these are about the parts of the human eye. So persistence of vision, whenever we see an object, the image of the object remains in the memory for 1/16th of a second. So 1/16th of a second. So using this persistence of vision, all the cinematography have utilized this concept of persistence of vision, and if they have the frames, if the number of frames they roll down or roll over are 24 frames per second. So when 24 frames per second are rolled, so this cinematography, 24 frames per second are rolled, before the image of the previous frame fades away, we will have the next frame, so that there will be a continuous motion picture with the 24 frames rolling down for a second. One more thing what we notice is, so there are some books, when they are rolled very fast, you can see the motion pictures, that is pictures moving. If you turn the individual pages, we don't see the pictures moving, but when we turn the pages very fast or quickly, then we find that there is some motion in the pictures. It is also due to the persistence of vision, that is for 1/16th of second, whatever we see, the light from the object remains in the memory. Far point is the farthest distance up to which a human eye can see. So human eye can see very long distances, because we can see the stars at the night time, during night time. So it is possible for a human eye to see a distances which are at infinity. So our far point is infinity. If the intensity of light is sufficiently bright, or if the object is highly luminous, we can see it at, though it is at infinity. The farthest of the distance of, the far point of the human eye is infinity. So what is the near point? So near point is the nearest distance where you can see the object distinctly. That is called the near point. Generally, for normal eye, the near point is 25 centimeters in front of the human eye. So when we are writing in notations, for far point we will use the capital F, and for near point we are going to use the capital N. Near point is the nearest distance at which the human eye sees the object distinctly. One more thing, this near point is also called as least distance of distinct vision. Least distance of distinct vision. So it is 25 centimeters for normal human eye. Power of accommodation of eye or human eye. So the ability of the eye to see or visualize the things which are at far off distances, as well as the nearby distances from the human eye separately. It is possible because of the ciliary muscles, which will change the focal length of the eye. Due to the change in the focal length of the eye, with the help of ciliary muscles, it is able for the eye to accommodate to see the nearby as well as the objects which are at far off distances. This is called power of accommodation of human eye. We say that the power of accommodation of human eye is 4 diopters. So it is 4 diopters. Power of human eye is 4, that is power of accommodation of human eye is 4 diopters. So how is it calculated? So we know the formula for the lens formula. So always we can use the lens formula to find out this in a simple way. Now when we are seeing the far off object, I'll take the object is at infinity, object is at infinity, so object is at infinity in front of the eye. Then the distance is, I'll take for round off, I'll make 2.5 centimeters, that is the screen on which this image is going to fall, 2.5 centimeter. And then the focal length, we need to find the focal length in this case. So this is all for far point I'm going to calculate for far point. These are the conditions for far point. So I'll use the formula 1 by f is equal to 1 by v minus 1 by u. So this is 1 by infinity, this will become 1 by infinity, so this will be 0. So 1 by f is equal to 1 by this one as 2.5. So 2.5, this will be 0, 1 by infinity, so you are going to make it as 0. So I will write here, so f will be equal to 2.5. Then I am going to take the power, since it is in centimeter, so I am going to write power of I is equal to 1 by f. So 1 by f is 1 by 2.5, since it is in centimeters I am going to put 100. So multiply with 10 on the numerator as well as denominator. So we are going to get 1000 by 25. So 25 4 times in 100, and this is 40 times in 1000. So 40 diopters. So when we are seeing the far off object, the power of human eye for far point is 40 diopters. For near point we will calculate. For near point, so the object is at, u is at 25 centimeters, so I am going to put minus 25 for this. The object is in front of the eye, minus 25 centimeters. The image is always 2.5 centimeter, that is a round figure for the eyeball. Like 2.3 I said, we are going to round off to 2.5 centimeter. Then I am going to calculate the focal length, then I will find the power for this for the near point. So 1 by f is equal to 1 by v minus 1 by u. So 1 by f equal to 1 by v is 1 by 2.5 minus 1 by minus 25. So minus minus will become plus. 1 by f is equal to 1 by 2.5 plus 1 by 25. So you multiply 10 with this. 1 by f is equal to 10 plus 1. 10 plus 1 by 25, which is equal to 11 by 25. So I'll keep the power of the lens is f is equal to 25 by 11. So f will become 25 by 11. So what I'm going to write is power of the eye lens when the object is at near point. So P of n is equal to, then this will become 1 by f. So since it is in centimeters, I am going to write 100 by 25 divided by 11. So it is nothing but 100 into 11 by 25. So 25 will go 4 times. So 4 11s are 44. Pn, power of human eye when the object is at near point, is 44 diopters. So for far point, the power of human eye is 40 diopters, and for the near point, the power of human eye is 44 diopters. So the power of accommodation of eye is, so the difference between these two, 44 minus 40, that is equal to 4 diopters. This is how we can say the power of accommodation of human eye is 4 diopters. This is all about the human eye. Thank you so much.